If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
So this is the agenda. So for the intro session, so myself, Pawan N. I have 15 years of experience in SAP FICO, and my overall experience is 18 years. I have worked in multiple implementations, support projects, rollouts, enhancements, upgradations, and testing projects. I have worked in FICO, FSCM, Central Finance, and S4HANA. So I am certified SAP FI consultant and also certified Central Finance consultant. Okay. So I have worked for several MNC companies. I have worked in USA also for around 6 years. And then I moved out to Bangalore. I'm currently in Bangalore. Okay. So I'll start from this SAP. So these are the modules covered in SAP FICO training. So we have general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivables, and asset accounting. And then we'll cover the org structure, which is called enterprise structure in SAP, and also financial accounting global settings. Okay. And then controlling cost center accounting, cost element accounting, internal orders, profit center accounting, broadcasting, and COPA. COPA is called profitability analysis. And then we'll cover the integration modules, integration with FICO to materials management, and integration with sales and distribution module. And the topics. So this is not the limited list, but we'll cover a few more topics as well. The validation, substitutions, sales and purchase tax, IDOCs, SAP methodology, financial statements. We'll explain some real-time scenarios and new GL concept. New GL concept we will see in the configuration. So not only new GL, so all these topics we will see in the SAP and also the theory part. And also we have a few other tools that are very much required in the real-time scenarios, like report painter reports, LSMW for migrating the data from non-SAP systems to SAP systems. So like that, we have few other tools that we will see. So in this course, we will cover the basic fundamentals, not only a basic. It will help from the beginner to intermediate level guys. Even the persons who are already working in SAP also benefit from this course. And we will learn the general ledger, accounts payable, bank accounting. So we will not cover the funds management, but it's wrongly written here. Okay. Bank accounting, accounts receivables, and asset accounting. And we will cover the business processes in all FICO modules. So without understanding the business processes, it would be difficult to understand the configuration settings. Okay, and we'll explain the integration part with other modules. So ideally, there is no prerequisite. Any graduate can attend this training session. Ideally, so the person with accounting background will have some advantage over the other people because they already have some knowledge on the accounting. It would be easy for them to understand, but it's not a problem. Even the people who do not have the accounting background, if they can learn some basic accounting concepts, how debit and credit works and the types of accounts, so then that would be enough. So who can take up this work? Ideally, any professional or any fresher can also take up this course, and if they can practice a few hours every day, then they can become very good on the configuration settings. Okay? And they can prepare for the interview. And any professionals who are already working on accounting or any other job, they can they want to move to IT side, they can also take up this course. And the IT developers and testers who are already working on other platforms, non-SAP platforms, or the persons who are already working in SAP in the technical modules or other functional modules. So they want to enhance their skills, which would be very much useful in their day-to-day routine in the professional career. So they can also take up this course. Data analyst and BI is also another technical module, and people working on the BA side and they are developing the FI related stuff, they can also take up this course, and which would be very much useful for them to easily understand the business processes. And the project managers, as a project manager, he or she should have the knowledge on all the SAP modules to communicate with the client, or so it would be very easy for them. So these are the training benefits attending with ZaranTech. We provide the training and certification options to enhance the knowledge. Okay. And also we have the experienced instructors to guide each trainee to upgrade their skills, and all enrolled students will receive the course material, assignments, assessments, and labs and case studies and real-time scenarios. And all the enrolled students can access the training blog. So you must have got the LMS access. There you can see all the training materials and recorded sessions. Okay, so before going to SAP FICO, I will just give the brief intro on SAP. Okay. SAP is a ERP software company. It is one of the largest and leading ERP company in the world. SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Products in Data Processing. So first, we need to understand what is ERP to understand SAP. So we have a few slides on ERP. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, and it is a software to built for the organizations to manage their businesses. So companies will have several departments of like finance, sales, marketing, materials management, HR, production, warehouse management. Like this, they have several modules available, several people working in the each department. They have to record their transactions and take out the reports. To do all these activities, they need a system. So ERP system provides a platform to manage all these transactions in the organizations. Okay, so you can find ERPs that are applicable for small companies to medium to large size companies. Okay. So SAP also has several products that are applicable to each industry. Okay. SAP Business One is for the small organizations, and SAP has another product called SAP Business by Design, which is very much suitable for the medium-sized organizations, and SAP ERP, which we are going to learn, which is also called ECC. ERP Central Component. So that is very much suitable for the large size companies. So are there only SAP available in the market? no, there are several other ERP companies also available, like Oracle, Microsoft, PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, BAN. Like this, several other companies are available which are providing the ERP softwares. But SAP is the market leader in this ERP software business. Okay. So the next big competitor to SAP is Oracle. And Oracle has bought this PeopleSoft and JD Edwards. Okay. And more than 1 lakh employees are working for SAP, and SAP has its existence in more than 180 countries. Okay. So then you can imagine how much big is a SAP company. And SAP was founded in 1972 by 5 IBM employees. Okay, so they initially started developing an ERP software for one of their clients in IBM. Okay. But later somehow that project got cancelled, and they thought of starting their own company and to develop, add few more features to that software. So they exited IBM and then started their own company. And in 1972, they started formally registered this SAP company. And SAP is located in Waldorf, Germany. And then from then, it's been more than 50 years of journey, around 50 years of journey. And this 50 years of journey, they have constantly and continuously improved the software. And now the latest version is S4HANA. S4HANA 2021 version. Okay. And in 72, they started with R1, 79 R2, and in 90s R3. And in 2004, they have started ERP, and then 2009 Business Suite for ERP, and 2011 they started their first database, which is called HANA. And then 2015 they have started the improvements to the finance product, which is called Simple Finance 1.0. They have SAP HANA software has a lot of advantages and benefits. It is a very fast in-memory database, and it reduces the redundancies, reduces the data footprint. Okay, so and the reports would be very faster because of this database. So because this it has the enhanced user experience. Because of this kind of several advantages with HANA database, SAP has simplified the processes and removed several redundant tables in SAP, which come up with S4HANA in 2015. Initially, it started with finance. All these improvements and simplifications were started in finance module. Then they have named it as a Simple Finance, but later they have applied all these simplifications to other modules, and with all these simplifications in all modules, they have changed the naming to the S4HANA. And then every year they started upgrading the improving the software. In S4HANA, it comes with yearly enhancement packs. Okay. So this is a brief history on SAP. Okay, so then we'll start with FI CO. Yeah. So FI stands for Financial Accounting, which is for the external requirements, and CO stands for Controlling, which is for the internal requirement. And what are the external requirements? Basically, companies who are registered under Companies Act, they have to provide the financial statements to the external parties, like the securities board, tax authorities, and they have to produce the financial statements, okay, to the legal authorities. The financial statements contain the balance sheet, profit and loss statements, and cash flow statements. Okay, so we record all the transactions in FI module that are any activity that is coming from the external parties, like when we purchase the sales from the external vendors, when we sell the goods to the external customers. Okay. So like this, any activity that involved the money or any other valuations, we must record all those transactions in the system. Okay. And then CO is for the internal requirement. So companies would be spending a lot of expenses in their day-to-day activities, and companies should have control over those expenses to reduce the costs and maximize the profits. And this is basically for the internal requirements, and this controlling module is also called as a management accounting. So these are the sub-modules in FI. So general ledger is in the central part from where we produce all the required financial statements. Then we have accounts receivables, accounts payables, asset accounting, and bank accounting. So accounts receivables is used to manage the customers, all the sales and relevant reports, like we have to provide the monthly statements to the customers, and also we send dunning letters, and we record the invoices and record the payments that are received from the customers. And then we have accounts payable, that is to manage the vendors, how we record all the invoices that we receive from the vendors, and we manage the payments that we need to make the payments to the vendors. So there would be several payment methods. Some vendors request checks, some request bank transfers, like this. So we will learn all these configurations, how the payments will be made to the different vendors. So we might be having the foreign vendors, domestic vendors, and the payments would be different. And also there might be several other procurements that are related to the direct procurement or indirect procurement, and it will have the integration with materials management module. So we'll learn all these topics in accounts payable. Asset accounting. So we companies would be acquiring several assets to run their businesses, like the machinery, equipment, land and buildings, furniture, computers. So like the several assets, the companies companies have to maintain and record the depreciations and other transactions, retirements, transfers, and all those activities must be recorded in managed in the asset accounting module. And then we have the bank accounting. So where any transaction that happens nowadays, all the transactions, 95% of the transactions happen through bank accounting in the corporate world. So we will learn how we send all these payments to the banks, and also how we receive the payments from the banks, like the customer transfers, all those things. And also we manage the bank statements, electronic bank statements. So we receive the bank statements from the banks, right? For our personal accounts, we receive personal every month, right? Because it will have only very few transactions, but in companies, they will have hundreds, thousands of transactions every day. So they, in the large organizations, banks would send the bank statements on daily basis. Okay. So we have to develop the interfaces to receive those bank statements and to clear to match with the payments that are already made or received. So we'll learn all these sub-modules in FI. Yeah. So SAP CO is for the internal management for better decision making. So these will be the modules in controlling cost element accounting, cost center accounting, activity-based accounting, internal orders, broadcasting, profitability analysis, and profit center accounting. So in cost element accounting, we'll have two types: primary cost elements and secondary cost elements. Primary cost elements are nothing but the GL account that are created in FI module. We will extend them to the controlling module. So secondary cost elements that are created in controlling module itself. Okay, so those are created for the settlements and allocations purpose. Okay. The cost center accounting, so each wherever the cost is being generated, so those departments or areas would be created as a cost center, okay, to record the costs and to manage the costs that are occurring in those cost centers. So profit centers, they receive both costs and profits also. Usually the companies, depending on the responsibility, either they can create the profit center by location wise or by product wise. Okay. So we can generate the balance sheets also at profit center level. And then internal order, any short events to allocate the budgets. In companies, they would be, for example, they would be running several marketing campaigns, and they need some budget to run those campaigns. Right, and also they should. It's only a short event that is that would last for only 1 day or 1 week. Right, so for those short events, we cannot create the master data. So the cost center and profit centers are the permanent master data. The internal orders are only for the temporary basis. So for this kind of things, so we will create the internal orders to manage the costs. And then we have the broadcasting. The broadcasting is to calculate the cost of goods manufactured for the products that are produced in-house, that are manufactured in-house. And also we calculate the broadcast for the raw materials, semi-finished goods and finished goods. Okay. And we can generate the reports in broadcasting module. So profitability analysis is to analyze the profitability on different profitability segments. Like in the financial accounting or in any other module, so we can get the profit and loss on the overall company code level. Okay. Or maybe at the profit center level or segment level. But what if we need to analyze the profitability with the several parameters, like the profitability with the combination of a cost center and a product, and from a region level, and also combination of sales organization and plant. Okay, and we can add many other parameters as well. So to drill down to the deepest level to analyze the profitability, it is not possible in any other module. So the profitability analysis is the only module which provides this kind of analysis, the profitability segment level. So deep drill down is possible with the profitability analysis module, which is also called COPA. So three-tier architecture. So it started in 90s with the R3. It is also called three-tier architecture, and it is valid in SAP ECC as well. So this is the overall architecture. It has a presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. Okay. We'll see the database layer first. As you know, so to store the data, we must require one database. Like you can imagine the hard disk in our laptops or computers. So all the data, like all the Excels or documents, PPTs that we create in the laptop, that will be stored in the hard drive, right? So we can retrieve that data from the hard disk whenever we require. So similarly, with any transaction that is recorded in SAP, that will store in database in the table forms. Okay. And then we have the presentation layer. So presentation layer is nothing but the application that we see in our laptops, computers, or mobiles, which is called the user interface. Okay, that is the presentation layer to look and feel about the application, and also to navigate and record the transactions. Okay. And then application layer is a connection between the this presentation layer and database layer. So when we enter a transaction, that should save in the database, right? So how it will save, and system should know the table names and the processes and all those things, right? So all those kind of transactions happen in application layer. To all the message server work processes, and the RAM and all those things happen in the application layer. Sometimes we might need to generate the reports which require some calculations, right? And all those processes that to retrieve the data from the database and to show in the presentation layer. So we need this application layer. So this is the overall architecture for the R3. So why we are calling R3? Initially, when R1 started, all these three layers would be residing in one single server. At that time, it was very difficult to manage, and it took a lot of time to process the data and to retrieve the data. And then R2 started, so database was moved to a separate layer. Okay. Now, with R3, it become more faster when all these are in different servers. The speed has drastically increased. So all three layers will be residing in three different servers, and all those are connected together. So I will tell this client thing when I log into the system. Okay. So these are the system requirements, and these are required for installing the SAP logon pad, which is also called SAP GUI software. Okay. This we have covered already. Yeah. As you guys know, so SAP has a tremendous opportunities in the market, and this is the average salary in US. So an SAP FICO consultant, a range of 158,000 in US. Okay, so it is not. I'm not sure when this was updated, but even now the salary trend is even more than the figure showing here. Okay. It depends on person to person how fast you can grasp and practice and improve your knowledge, and you can grow on the career ladder. You can start with the junior consultant, and after 2 or 3 years you can go to the senior level and team leader, project manager, like this. It all depends on your interest and your efforts. But for any kind of level, so there is a lot of demand in the market, be it SAP ECC or S4 HANA. Okay. To learn SAP S4HANA, it is mandatory to learn SAP ECC. Otherwise, it would be difficult to understand. Okay, that's all about the introduction. So, do you guys have any questions? You can find this SAP logon pad here. Once it is installed, it is available on your desktop, or you can just click on this start button and you can type SAP and you would see this SAP logon. You can double click on this one. Okay. For your practice, when we start the actual session, so we will ask the external vendor to provide you the access. Then they will give you the instructions on how to install this software. Okay. And once this software is installed, and you would be provided with the some details, some parameters. I will show you this property. So you need the application server and instance number and the system ID. So these three are required to log into this particular server. Okay. And to add these servers, there are different ways. One thing is you can just click on this new button, connection, click on next. Okay. I'll just add a few details. Test ST00. I'm just entering some random number. Like this, you will enter the application server. Just click on next. Okay. And again, click on next. So you don't need to activate this. Usually it will not work, the single sign. And when we have multiple systems added in the SAP logon pad, so every time when you open each system, you don't need to enter the user ID and password when you activate this single sign on. Okay. And then click next and then finish. Then you will see this one more row got added here. Okay. This the way once you get this application server details, you can add like this. So for now, I'll just delete this one. Right click and delete. Click on yes. Okay. And there are different ways you can browse this logon pad. One is this direct desktop, which I am doing now. So this software, logon pad software, is installed on my laptop. Okay, this is called direct desktop. The other way is remote desktop. So you would be provided with the IP address or one link. So once you open that link, a virtual desktop will be open, like your VMware or AWS. So in that remote desktop, this software is available. Okay. Anything is fine, but there is the third way. But in the real-time scenario, so these are the options so that you will have. Either you will have this SAP on your laptop if it is a client provided laptop. Okay. But if it is a laptop provided by your company, like the IT company that you would be working for, TCS, Infosys, Accenture, so they will give you the laptop and you will be given the remote desktop option like the AWS or VPN accesses will be provided by your client. Okay, so you might have to log in through the remote desktop. In those cases, the second option, the remote desktop, will work. So the third one, it is only for the purpose. The third option that I am telling you is only for the training purpose. Okay, where you have all the SAP servers installed on your hard drive. Okay, which requires at least 500 GB of the space. Okay. So all the for direct desktop and remote desktop, you must have the internet connection. Okay. But for the installing the SAP software, the basis consultants in several people available in the market, they can help you to install that software. which would take at least 24 hours to complete that installation. Okay. It takes a lot of RAM and lot of hard disk space. Okay, that is purely only for the training purpose. In the real time, you would not be seeing those screens. That is all responsibility of the basis consultant. Okay, right. So next, so once you come to this screen, double click on here. Okay, and then you would see this kind of screen. And now you see the client, right? So now client 800 means I'm logging into this client 800 system. In the real time also, you would be provided the client. The client means you can assume as a server. It's an independent server. Okay, so the credentials provided to you are valid only for this client. So if you want access to another client, you must get the access. Okay, so now I have access to only this client and I can only log into this one. So client is the highest organizational unit in SAP. Any process, any transaction that happens in SAP, that happens with reference to this client only. Okay, so you would see all those transactions only in this client. Okay. If you want to see those transactions in another client, you have to move those changes. So we can move only the configuration changes to the other client. The master data and other transactions, they will not be available in the other client. So where you are entering, in which client you are entering, those data will be available only in that particular client. Okay, because it has its separate database. Okay. Right. So enter the user ID and password, and log on language, it is by default English. Okay, so if you do not enter any language, then it will log in with by default with English language only. Okay, you can click on enter. If you want to open the system with other language, so you need to enter that language ID. Language ID is a 2-digit ID. Okay. Okay, so now I am in SAP. This is the initial screen, which is called SAP Easy Access screen. So can I move the screen? So this is called SAP Easy Access screen. So this is the first screen when you log into SAP. And you will have the SAP menu here. So I will show you the navigation. So it is very much important to learn the navigation. So when your team leads or managers ask you to perform something and they wanted to perform in front of them, then you must have this knowledge on various options available here in the SAP Easy Access. So this is called the menu bar, okay, where you can see all the options here. Okay. This is called menu bar. And the second bar, which is just below the menu bar, is called the title bar. Okay. And then the one below it is called application toolbar, where you have all the buttons and options available. Okay. And then here we have the SAP menu, and you would see the folders for each module. So we use this module accounting folder regularly. Okay, so all the FICO related transactions would be available under this accounting. So if you click on this button, you would see further notes, financial accounting. So we would be seeing this financial accounting and controlling. Okay, these two nodes we would be using for this training. So further you can click on this arrow button and you will see all the submodules: general ledger, accounts receivables, accounts payables, banks, fixed assets, special purpose ledger, and additional functions we would see. Further, you can go deeper, you would see the other folders, the document entries, the master data, and other reports. Periodic processing means the period and year-end activities, and you can see the reports, and all these things would be available. So similarly, you can open the other nodes as well. You would see almost same kind of folders there also. And this is the SAP Easy Access screen. This is mostly in the real time used by the end users who record the transactions and create the reports on daily basis. Okay. But what transaction that consultants need to open, I'll show. So first, let me show the other options available here. So this is called transaction box or command box. So to open in SAP, we have multiple transactions available, right? For each transaction will come up with one code, like in accounting, financial accounting, general ledger. So I want to create a journal entry. So I need to open this one. So to open this transaction, if I remember the path, I come to this path and I double click on this one. I need to enter the company code. First time, right? It's taking time. So this is the way I can come to this path. Okay. The second way is, if I remember this transaction code, which is 4 digit or minimum 4 digits, so it can be more than 4 digits also. If I remember this one, I come to this box and I will enter FP50. So you can enter in small letters also, it's not case sensitive. P50 and click on enter button, or you can click on this right button also. Again, you will come to this screen. Okay, so this is the way we can open the transactions here. Okay, now we'll go to SPRO. The configuration settings or developments will be done in another transaction. Okay, that name is SPRO. SPRO stands for SAP Project Reference Object. Okay, just click on enter and the screen will appear, and just click on this SAP reference IMG. IMG means implementation guide. Okay. Yeah, this is the screen, IMG screen, where we do all the configuration changes. This access will be given only to the IT consultants. Okay, so end users will not have access to this screen. PRO. MG stands for now. Here also you have the menu bar, title bar, and this toolbar, and this one is called the status bar. Okay. And then if I want to perform another task, so I need to open a new screen. How can I open a new screen? Here you have this button, new GUI window. You can click on like this, or otherwise you can click on this system and you can click on new GUI window. This is the other way to open a new window. Or you can click on this 3 bars. You can see the 3 bars, right? You can click on this one, and here you have one more option, new GUI window. Okay. So this is the way you can open different sessions. And how many sessions I can open? So now I'm getting the message that maximum number of SAP FICO sessions reached. Because maximum we can open 6 sessions only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. If we want to open a new session, we have to close the existing, any one of the existing sessions. Okay. Then only we will be able to open a new one. So why this kind of restriction was given? Especially these restrictions would be given in the production system. So in the development system, it's up to the basis team. Okay, so they can even configure to open 8 sessions also. I have seen it in some clients, but in quality and production, it would be restricted to 6 sessions only. If they allow to open more sessions, it increases the burden on the server. Okay, it will be a problem to the other users because a lacks of users in the big organizations would be performing the tasks and in SAP, right? So it will slow down the system performance. That's the reason this number of screens is limited to 6 only. Right. So we'll see a few more navigation options that are available here. And if
so one question.
Yeah.
So previously you have said, right, it is a client, for example, 800.
Yeah.
For one customer, we will be allocating one client, right? So if it is 800 and we have 3 landscapes, right? Production, quality, and development. So under the 800 itself, we have these 3 parts, or like how? If it is production, they would be giving 801 or something.
Different client, yes, correct. Yeah. So let me tell you this landscape. Okay. So landscape is nothing but the systems that are available in the for a customer. Okay. First thing is a development client 800. Okay. Second client is quality or QA. It is called QA also. It can have 800, but it is on a different server. So for simplification purpose, I would say 01. Production server. So assume it is 900. Okay. So this is how the landscape looks like. It flows from dev to quality and quality to production. Okay. So any changes that are we made, right? The configuration changes or any ABAP development that we made in development client, and we do the testing. And then once testing is completed, if everything looks good, we move those changes. That means we transport. Whenever we create a transaction, I mean the configuration, it generates a transport request, which includes all these changes. Those transport requests we must move to the next subsequent clients. Okay, or these are all the higher clients, higher environments. Any terminology is fine. Either you can call them as client or environment. It's a development environment or development client. Okay. We transport the changes from development to quality. And again, we perform the testing in quality. And then if there are no issues, so we transport those changes to the production. Okay. So for example, in development, we have 800 for this configuration. And for example, if I have development 810, okay, this is for testing. This is for testing. Okay. And 800 client is for config. Okay. Or development. So usually in development class, you would see 2 clients, but not in quality and production. Okay. So why it is like this in development? Not only we, so there are several other consultants who would be doing the configuration changes for their requirements. Okay. If I am doing one change and I need to do the unit testing. Okay. But for to perform the testing, I might need the other changes as well. But still those changes are in progress. My testing will not be successful if I try to test in 800 client. Okay. And then it would be a difficulty for me. I have to wait until the other guy's change is completed. Right. So, but I don't have any dependency on them. So whether he complete his change or not, I'm not worried. Okay. But without that change, I cannot, without that configuration setting, I cannot complete my testing. So since it is obstructing my activity, usually what they will do is, I'm just giving one simple example. In real time, there might be several other people obstructing this one, right? So we do the testing in another client. Okay. Then my change is already there, so I can do the testing, okay, without waiting for the other changes to complete. Okay. And then so we can make the configuration changes only in development client. In quality and production, we will have only the display access. We will not do any changes configuration related, but we can create the master data and transaction data to test the changes that we have already done. Okay. You see the different types of testings. Here it is called unit testing, which is performed in development. In quality, we do SIT, system testing. So this will be done by the IT guys. The unit testing and SIT will be done by the IT guys. IT guys means we, as a consultant, we will do the testing. Okay. And then there is one more thing called UAT. This is called user acceptance test. So there are several other tests also, like one is we frequently do the regression testing. Regression testing is the delta changes. Okay. So if we are making one change, okay, for example, one ABAP program is there that is used by the US company code and India company code. Okay, but India company code wants some additional features in that report that should be applicable only for when pulling the data for that particular Indian company code. Okay. In that case, we have to do the testing. In SIT, we will do testing for India company code that new feature is working or not. And for the regression, we have to do the testing for the US company code because it should not affect them. It's a global report, right? The other countries should not get impacted because of the change that we have done. In the regression test, we will do whether there is any impact the other existing features are affecting or not. Okay. The user acceptance test, this is done by the end users. So they also have to ensure the requirement that they have given is working fine or not. Okay. And then we will move the production and the end users will start utilizing them on the regular basis. So this is the landscape, and sometimes you would see same 800 client in quality also, 800 client in production also, but do not get confused. The servers are different. Okay, it's a this is the problem. It will frequently log off. So if you see here, the server name is this one for this development client, but the client is 800 and this is the server name. When you open the quality here, we do not have those systems, but in the real time, when you open the quality and production, client might be same, but you will see a different server. If you want to check, you don't need to log in actually. So even once you click on this one, here itself you can check. So you don't need the logon details to check the client and server information. So client is not appearing here, but you can see the server name. So we have seen how many sessions we can create. Okay. And also we'll see the favorites. So in your day-to-day, usually the end users in their day-to-day transactions, they would be performing some activities on a daily basis. Okay, so remembering those transactions is difficult, and also going through the path is also difficult. What they can do is those frequently used transactions, they can add to the favorites. So I can just select this one and I can drag it to the favorites folder to add it. Okay. You can just right click and you can change the favorite, or you can delete the favorite. Okay. The other ways, you can click on this one, right click, insert transaction, FP50, and enter. So it gets added. And if you are working in multiple departments and you have some frequent transactions, you can create the folders, insert folders, AP, accounts payable, insert folder, AR, accounts receivables, and again in the AR folder, you can right click and insert transaction. Okay, FP70 is the invoice posting, customer invoice posting. Okay, AP, again insert transaction. FP60 is the vendor invoice. So like this, we can add the favorites. We can organize by folders as well. Okay. Delete like this. Right, can delete favorites. Okay, and then there are some settings we might require, some settings we might not require. Usually here it is the one picture will appear on your right screen. In this blank screen, it will be a company logo or SAP logo, anything. So when we have these pictures, it will have some little slowness when in the initial opening of the screen. If we don't want to see that screen, we can just right click on this open space and we can click on the settings. Okay, and you have this option, do not display picture. Okay, and similarly I have the transaction codes appearing here, which is actually the good feature, and I want to keep like this. But if you do not want to see this transaction codes, you can just right click here and again go to settings and select deselect display technical names. So with this one, now I will not see the transaction codes here. So the transaction codes are gone, but I like to keep them as is. Okay, and then we have this display favorites. If I select this one, favorites will come to the bottom. Do not display menu, only display favorites. So if I don't want to see this SAP menu, you can select this one. In this case, only favorites will be displayed. The SAP menu will not be displayed. This is useful for the users only performing few transaction codes. Okay, I'll remove this one, right? Okay, this is the another thing, and we'll see few other settings. Okay, here we can see the program name. When you this you will have different options depending on your logon version. I'm using the latest version 770, which have this look and feel, okay, the colors and all these things. But if you want to change the screens, screen settings, the colors and all those things, we can change. I will show you them. But for this kind of version, you would see this logon information, system name, client, user. This is my user ID in which I logged in. Okay, application server and program and transaction. Currently, I'm not in any transaction. That's why it is showing these names. But if I go to one transaction, so I can see the transaction FB50 and the program associated to this transaction. Okay, so program is different. Transaction is different. So program in development client will have executable programs or non-executable programs, and those non-executable programs, those are associated with the transaction code. We can open them only through the transaction. So some are you not able to see my screen till now?
We can see your screen.
Okay, okay. I saw some message, that's why I was wondering. Okay. And the response time, how much time it took to open this session, and all these things will appear. But in the older versions, this information comes in the bottom, in the status bar. Okay. That also we will see. I'm actually used to the old screens, and navigation is a bit difficult for me with this new screen. In this case, I want to change the look and feel. You can click on this help and settings. Not this one. Can anyone please go on mute, everyone? Yeah. So here it is given in this settings button. So we have this find button. If you do not know the T code, you can click on this find and find next, and we can use the print button. This we have already seen to create multiple sessions, and this is for generating the shortcut. Okay, so and then this is the settings. When you click on this settings, and you will see these options, click on these options, and you have this visual design. Okay, and theme settings. Currently we are in the quads theme. Okay, but I'll go and select SAP signature theme. Okay, select signature theme and click on apply and OK. Sometimes we need to re-log in to have those. So you see the screen settings have changed. Okay, it's only the look and feel has got changed. So similarly, we have several other settings we can utilize. I'm used to this settings. So now I can see this information in the status bar. Earlier it was showing on the menu bar. Okay. So now the options also got changed. Earlier you were seeing these things, right? The log off button on the right side, and now I'm seeing these things differently here. Okay, but I don't want to confuse you. Anyhow, we will be using the latest one only. So I will switch it back to the old one, the quads theme. Okay. And to log off from the system, I have different options to close the system. So I will click on this new window to open multiple sessions. Okay, so now you see the new theme has applied here. Okay. Now, if I want to close these sessions, when I have multiple sessions open, what I can do is I want to close only few sessions. Okay, I can just close this button. Okay, you can click on this close button, and when you click on these three lines on the top left side, and you can click on close button here also. So now I have three sessions. To log off from the system, so instead of closing all these things, what I can do is I can just click on this log off. This is also closing one session each time. Okay, but I want to log off completely without closing any of these sessions. Okay, what I will do is I can just click on system and we can click on log off. Then you will see this message: unsaved data will be lost. Do you want to log off? So you can just click on S to log off. Okay. The other way is using the commands. Okay. Now how many sessions I have? I'll keep 3 sessions. Okay. I want to open more sessions. Okay, for this one we have already seen. I can click on this one. I can go to this one or this one. So without selecting these options, with the command or with the transaction code also, I can open. So you can click on this front slash and this one, it will open new session. Okay, so I'm getting this one, and you just click on generate to open a new session. So currently I have 3 sessions open. Another session got open. 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions I have. Okay. And similarly, when I'm working on one transaction, okay, I'm in this transaction, but I want to open a new session. Okay, I don't want to close this one. I'm still working on this session, but I want to open a new one, new transaction in a new session. In that case, either you can go here and click enter the transaction code, or through the menu path, anything is fine. Okay, this is one way, but I have to click and enter the transaction. But in single shot, I can enter the transaction code front slash /o FB60. So with this one, /o is for what? /o is to open a new screen, and in that new screen, I want the system to open this transaction code. Okay, that's the command we are giving. Right. So now I have the previous session open and the new session also open. Okay. So now I am done with this transaction. I want to close only this one. You can close this one, click on the close button, or you can click on /n. N is for end the session. Okay. And now I have 2 sessions open. I'm working on this one. I'm completed. I want to open a new session in the same screen by closing this existing screen. So currently I am in FB50. I want to close this session and open a new session in the same screen. In that case, I will use /n. /n means to close this existing session, and I will give a new T code, FB60. So that means it will close the existing session and open the new transaction code in the same screen. Okay. So /n for ending the session, B60, the new T code, and click enter. So now I have only 2 screens. In the second screen, the FB50 was closed, and FB60, the new one, got opened. Okay. So this is the way you need to remember. /O /O to open /N close a session. So these are the commands. So if you want to open a new one, /O and decoder opens FB50 T-code in session. FB60 and FB60 these are the commands that you need to remember. Right. And then similarly, if you go to the settings, yeah, any questions? So for example, I have
no, that where you written. Thank you.
it's just for example, I have given FB50, so you can replace
Yes.
FB50 with any other T code. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
So usually sometimes I need to copy some text, right? For example, in the reference test demo. So what I need to do is to copy this one. I have to highlight this one and then select Control C. Okay, and select Control C, and then I need to go somewhere and I need to do Control V, right? Okay. So instead of doing this, I can do a quick copy. If you click on this settings and you have this quick cut and paste, if you make it on, so this dot button is appearing, that means it is active. Quick cut and paste feature is on. Okay. You can just select this one. So now I don't need to press the Control C. My text is already copied. You come wherever you want, just enter the Control V or paste button. So anything is fine. Okay. So this is one feature available. And then again in the options, colors in the system. So you have the option to change the color. Usually we use these settings to differentiate between the systems. So we will be having access to development, quality and production, right? Sometimes when we are entering some transactions, you will have most of the accesses in development. Okay. But in quality also you will have, but in production you will have only display access. Okay. You will not have any access to post any transactions for the IT consultants. Okay. So some tasks I should not perform in quality. So I have access, that is not my job. I should not perform. Okay. By mistakes, what we will do is we might open both development and quality at the same time. Okay. And we do these kind of mistakes, or even in the testing also, when we want to test in development, if both the development and quality is open, by mistake without seeing, we will do the testing in quality and we will get the errors because the changes are not yet available, and then we will start worrying. Okay. So to avoid these kind of situations, what we usually do is we will change the colors. So for development, I will keep one color, so quartz red, and for quality a different color. So you see this top bar has changed to red color, so like this. So you can come to this color settings and keep the colors a separate color for each client or for each system. Okay. All right. Okay. So these are the navigation options we have in SAP, and once you start doing the practice, you will get to know so many other options. Okay, so if I am trying to enter this one again, so I'm trying to create a transaction, and if I have missed some fields, okay, when I'm trying to go through it, I would get a message. So that message, it will appear here in the specify account number, which is in the status bar. Okay. So once I enter that required information, here I need to enter the vendor account number. That message will be gone, and if there is any other issue, it will show a different new message. Okay. So now I have entered this one and click enter. Now I'm getting the other message, enter invoice date. Okay, so like this, it will show the messages here. Yeah, so the period is not open for this one, so that's why I cannot post. So all the messages will be shown in the status bar. Okay. So we have seen how the transaction codes will appear for the end user transactions. Okay, here. And if I go to SPRO, please remember this, we will be using this T code several times. Okay. You can click on SAP reference IMG, or also if you see in the there is one more pop-up option showing there, it is showing F5. It is a shortcut. Either you can click on this one or just click on F5 button. In my case, it is function F5. Yeah. So without clicking on that one, if you just press F5, you will come to the IMG place. So in IMG, so we will be seeing this one. So there are two things of financial accounting new, the new GL concept. So this another node has been created. So we will be using this financial accounting. So, and we have another node for the controlling. Okay. These two will be, we will be seeing all the configuration settings. And there is one more thing, enterprise structure. This is common for all the module guys, where first we need to define the organization structures, all these things, company, credit control area, company codes, and all these things. So, but here I'm not seeing the transaction code, right? For IMG transaction, the transaction code will appear differently. To activate the transaction code, we can click on this additional information, again additional information, display key, click on the second one, IMG activity. So in IMG activity, you can see the last 4 digits is the transaction code. For company code OX02. For this one also, if you remember the transaction code, you can directly go to the transaction. So it will open my company code screen. Or you can just click on this one. In SAP Easy Access screen, if we go to the path, we have to double click. But here in IMG, double click will not work. So there is a button, right, timer button. You have to click on the timer button to open the IMG transactions or the configuration transactions. Okay. So these are the general navigations that are required. Okay. So it's already 8:45. We will close the session today, and from tomorrow we'll start our FICO module, okay, from the configuration. So do you guys have any questions? All right, if there are no other questions, we'll close. And I'm sorry, I have started today's session a little bit late, but from tomorrow onwards, we'll start sharply at 7 a.m. India time. Okay, right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.